Hey, get inspired, everybody. We are so grateful for you tuning in. Thanks for watching another episode of Life Inspired. We're so excited to have as our guest on the red couch today, Miss Abi Yoder. So yay, thanks for coming, Abby.
Thank you, Diane.
We're so grateful to have you.
I'm so thankful to be here.
Okay, so we're just going to tell the audience just a little bit about what Life Inspired is. If you've never tuned in before, we're going to do 3 questions basically for Abby. She's going to talk about a turning point that kind of got her inspired. And so first of all, life was going along, and then there's this ... moment, and then now you're walking an inspired life. So, Abby, what is your life before the ... turning point moment? And tell us a little bit about Abby.
Well, I grew up right here in South Bend, Indiana. My dad has been working at Granger Christian School, Grace Church for
cool.
40 years.
Wow, did not know that. Okay.
And he's taught many students in this area, so a lot of people know about him. And I always had a heart for the Lord, especially growing up in a Christian family, but I was not aware of what was really in the world, in the current situation in the world, until 2014, and that was when my ... moment happened.
So now the second question, what is that? What's your turning point?
So I was in a room for the cross conference simulcast, and David Platt spoke, and he said if every Christian in the world told every single person they knew about Jesus, and all of them believed in Jesus, there would still be 2 billion people who had never heard and would never accept Jesus because they had no way of hearing.
Wow.
And that's the current situation.
Wow. Crazy. Okay. So what did that do inside of you? How did that turn you into a new inspired way?
So he asked anyone who wanted to give their lives to going where people had no way of hearing about Jesus to stand. And I did. Ooh. And people prayed for me, and I knew something big just happened.
Wow. Okay. So then what did you do?
So I started on this trajectory of going to the nations, going somewhere where people had never met a Christian, had no way of hearing. They were just without this Bible. And, this is my most precious possession. I'm so thankful that God wrote a book for us.
Right.
And
His love letter.
It is. And there are 2 billion people who have never seen this. They have no word of scripture in their language. They have no way. They'll never hear about Jesus from the time they're born till the time they die.
Right.
Unless we go.
Unless we go. And how will they hear unless someone tells them? And how will someone tell them unless they're sent? I don't remember the specific reference, but yeah, so we got to send, and you're one that we send. So tell us about, because you've been in Peru, and what are some of the other missions that you've been on?
Yes, so I was in China for 2.5 years teaching English, and absolutely loved it. The believers in China are so precious. Yeah. They're so precious.
And they have to hide their beliefs, right? They can't be public that they are Christ followers. Is that true?
Right. They have to be careful, but they're a lot more bold than you'd think that they would be.
Really?
They're pretty fearless, the people
That's
that
great.
I knew.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And where was your next trip?
And then I traveled a lot around Southeast Asia while I was there, so I was able to see believers in the Philippines and Malaysia and Indonesia and Cambodia and Thailand and Singapore, Taiwan,
right,
Japan.
Right.
And that's the thing, is the beauty of this body of Christ is that it is what each culture thrives with. It's not this Western thing. It's a global story and a global body. Brothers and sisters that are so united because we have Christ as our head. And it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. And I think that's what the heart of the Father is, that he has this tapestry of diversity of people from all different tribes and tongues and languages, nations, who will one day be worshiping around the throne of God.
Right. Yeah, he created us all. It's like, there's not just one kind of flower. There's not just a rose. There's all beautiful flowers, and there's not just flowers. There's bushes and trees, and he does love diversity. That's so cool. Okay, so we always like to ask our guests, because just like we have a different retinal scan or a different thumbprint, you connect with God differently. So how do you stay inspired on a daily basis, Abby? What keeps you connected to the Holy Spirit and feeling Him live through you instead of Abby live in your life? So what do you do? How do you stay connected?
Great question. And it's, it's morphed throughout the years. I'm really thankful. The Lord really impressed on me the importance of just having time with Him.
Okay.
Time with Jesus, me and
what does
Jesus.
that look like?
And so, yes, from the time I was 13, I started having daily time with Jesus. And a lot of it includes worship and singing. I think that the Father talks a lot in the Bible about singing, and He wants joyful worshipers. He doesn't want sad, we have to do that. He wants us to be joyful worshipers. So I do a lot of turning on my worship music and dancing and reading the Word, listening to the Word on the audio Bible, just being still before Him. I think for me, I'm a very go kind of girl, and I just need time, quiet before the Lord, and just staring at the trees and nature and reminding myself that this God who made all this lives inside of me and is intimately connected with me, that He loves me, that I am the beloved. I need time with Him, that my identity is not what other people think of me or say about me or what I do or what I have, because all of that changes a lot. But my rock and my stability is that I am the beloved. And the Father looks at me and sings over me. He rejoices over me. He made me in a very unique, specific way, as He did for each person. And He's given us a way that we can thrive and be fully alive. And that's what I'm learning, is that He wants us to be fully alive, fully ourselves. It's about discovering who He's made us to be. And each person has something very unique, like that fingerprint you talked about, that only they can do. And it's really amazing that when they are living in their purpose, living fully in who they are and their giftings and what they've been made to do, that they come alive,
They're the most filled, for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. So what would you say to someone that would be watching that maybe doesn't really appreciate what God made of them? They don't I don't like this nose, or I don't like, that I have the habit of doing this. What would how would you encourage someone like that that's not kind of like really happy with God about that, and so they don't really rejoice in that? How would you encourage someone like that? What would you say?
Well, I would say that I've been there. It took me until just a few years ago that I could say, as that verse David said, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. A lot of people don't understand my unique personality. I'm very emotional, very passionate, very sensitive. And I always thought God made a mistake when He made me.
Did you?
I did.
Why?
Because I thought, well, if the church can't accept me like this, the pastors and the leaders, they say you're too much, you need to calm down, you need to be quiet, you need to not be so vivacious, then God, why did you make me? Because I want to love you and I want to serve you and I want to please you. And so I had to separate what God said about me, what other people said about me. And so I think that's a step too, is being able to not listen to what all the other voices are. Because a lot of times the reason we're down on ourselves is because we're listening to voices that are not the truth.
Well, and I think that sometimes they come from the world. But I think sometimes they just come from the enemy. And it sounds like it's within. And so I do think, we definitely hear a bunch of lies. The devil's a liar. I love that song, Fear, He is a Liar. He'll take your whatever, and I don't remember the words of the song, but crazy. Okay, so now we also have a lot of viewers that are prayer warriors and would love to pray for you and for your ministry. We have some that might even have the capacity for contributing, or maybe not the capacity financially to contribute, but maybe time to donate, volunteer time in what you're doing. So can you share just a little bit about what it is that you're doing that that they can help with in any of those three ways: praying for you, volunteering with you, or contributing to the cause? Tell us about about
for
that.
asking.
Yep.
So I love the verse where it says, Jesus says, pray earnestly that the Lord of the harvest would send forth laborers into his harvest field. And he looked at the harvest field and he said, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. And I am praying that God will do a mighty work through this area in the world, that he would send forth passionate lovers of Jesus to go to the ends of the earth.
Cool. Okay.
And so that's one thing, is
So that's
just
the prayer.
praying
Okay.
that God will do this, do his work. I think I'm also really involved in Perspectives, and Perspectives is a course that's in 250 cities around the world.
Oh, wow.
And I'm coordinating it
this
fall in South Bend.
Wow.
It's meeting at Gospel City Church every Thursday night,
Okay.
and it's closed for this time, but I'm praying that this is a course that will continue in this area.
Okay.
So people
So
can
the
check
course
it
is
out.
called Perspectives.
Perspectives.
Okay.
Totally shifting your perspective of the world, of what God's doing, of yourself, finding
Okay.
your purpose in your plan in where God has
Very
set
cool.
you.
Okay.
So perspectives.org, there's a 1-minute video, you can check it out.
Okay. Okay. And then any ways that people can volunteer?
I am always looking for just people to also share in the vision of what God is doing, coming to prayer meetings.
Okay.
I'm very much in a transition period right now,
Okay.
and I don't know where God is going to send me next.
Okay, cool.
And I love just to hear from people. I
Okay.
have a newsletter that I send out once a month with
Okay.
pictures and prayer requests, and I love to just connect with people and to hear their stories of what God is doing in their heart, how he is leading them.
Very cool.
Because he's working. He
Right.
is working. God is on the move.
Oh, for sure. Right. Absolutely. He's
And
doing
it's
crazy stuff.
encouraging.
Yeah, it is. It's so fun. We just need to open our eyes and just see what he's doing. So thank you guys so much for watching. Abby, thank you for being here. She is in town for a while. So if you would like to connect with Abby, have a little coffee, I know she would be happy to meet with you, connect with you. If you want to get on her newsletter list, you can just message us here. And as always, you can watch Life Inspired on either YouTube or Facebook or the Inspired Homes channel, the inspiredhomes.com website. So yeah, so you can share this story with somebody that needs to hear why they matter to God. And even if they don't really love what they're seeing in themselves right now, maybe you want to share this with them so they can go, oh yeah, no, I want to be like Abby and learn how to have time alone with God. So I hear that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. So thanks again. I
Thank
really
you so
appreciate it. You guys have a great week. Thanks for watching.